There comes a moment in life when everything slows down, when the noise of the world fades into silence and a quiet awareness takes hold. It is a moment that seems almost orchestrated, as though time itself pauses to allow attention to focus on a singular truth. In this stillness, clarity emerges, subtle yet undeniable, guiding the mind and heart to look inward. It is in these moments that one begins to sense that the path ahead is not random, that there is a pattern woven through experiences, challenges, and choices. This awareness carries both weight and relief, for it reveals that the moments of confusion and wandering were not without purpose, but rather steps leading to understanding. One realizes that life's journey, with all its twists and turns, is preparing the individual to witness this very moment, a personal invitation to observe, reflect, and see beyond the ordinary. The feeling of being singled out is not boastful. It is a quiet recognition that there is an opportunity to perceive something profound, a truth that might otherwise go unnoticed amid daily distractions and noise. The intensity of this clarity is compelling, urging one to pause fully, to engage with the moment completely, and to honor the unique nature of this inner vision. In this space of solitude, the mind opens to perspectives previously obscured by routine or habit. The awareness that arises is not forced. It arrives naturally when the self is fully present and receptive. It feels like a gentle, yet insistent whisper, drawing attention to what truly matters. Ordinary thoughts and concerns fade into the background, replaced by a heightened sense of perception. One begins to notice subtle connections between experiences, the way decisions and actions have led to this precise point, and how the current insight may shape the path ahead. There is a distinct feeling that what is being seen is meant solely for the individual, a private revelation that demands contemplation and understanding. The significance of this moment lies in its exclusivity, the sense that it is a turning point, a chance to witness a truth unfiltered by external influence or shared perspective. It asks for patience, for quiet reflection, and for a willingness to engage fully with the inner self. In observing alone, the observer gains a kind of vision that is inaccessible in collective or distracted moments, a clarity that emerges only when attention is devoted entirely to what is being revealed. This moment also brings with it a sense of responsibility. To see is not merely to observe, but to comprehend, to integrate, and to allow the insight to influence thought and action. It is an invitation to engage with life in a more conscious, deliberate way, recognizing the patterns that guide behavior and the choices that shape destiny. The experience encourages introspection, prompting questions that might otherwise remain unasked and responses that might otherwise remain unformed. It is a time when intuition and understanding converge, providing direction that is both personal and profound. There is a humility in recognizing that these moments are rare, fleeting, and cannot be replicated at will. They must be embraced as they come, honored with full presence and attention, and trusted for the wisdom they offer. By stepping into this quiet space and allowing oneself to witness the unfolding truth, one begins to cultivate insight, discernment, and readiness for what lies ahead. The moment becomes a threshold, a point of awakening, where observation alone transforms perception, and clarity emerges as a guide for the journey yet to come. Solitude holds a power that is often overlooked, a quiet strength that reveals itself when the distractions of life are set aside. In the stillness of being alone, the mind becomes a clear mirror, reflecting thoughts, intentions, and truths that are usually hidden beneath the noise of daily obligations and social expectation. It is in this space that understanding deepens, allowing one to see not just the surface of circumstances, but the patterns and connections that lie beneath. Solitude does not signify emptiness or isolation. Rather, it is a sacred arena where insight is cultivated. In these moments, every detail of perception is heightened, and the mind gains clarity that is impossible when attention is divided. The act of stepping into such quiet allows one to confront reality without distraction, to observe the nuances of life as they truly are, and to recognize the significance of moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. The power of solitude is transformative, creating the conditions necessary for reflection, self-awareness, and the discernment needed to navigate complex choices. Being alone in this way also fosters a unique kind of freedom. Without external voices, influences, or expectations, the individual can engage fully with thought, feeling, and intuition. This freedom is not about escape, but about presence, being wholly attentive to the inner world and receptive to the insights it offers. In solitude, the observer becomes aware of how past experiences, decisions, and even mistakes have shaped the current moment. Awareness expands, revealing possibilities and responsibilities that are often clouded in the midst of collective interaction. By removing external pressures and allowing the mind to rest in this quiet, one begins to cultivate an understanding that is authentic, grounded, and deeply personal. Every revelation, no matter how subtle, carries weight, offering guidance that can influence choices and actions in meaningful ways. Solitude provides the fertile ground in which clarity grows, producing insight that cannot be rushed, manufactured, or borrowed from others. The process of engaging with solitude also strengthens resilience. Observing the self and circumstances without distraction encourages honesty and self-reflection, prompting one to confront both strengths and limitations. This confrontation is necessary for growth, as it enables recognition of what must change, what must be embraced, and what must be accepted. There is a profound sense of empowerment that emerges from embracing solitude intentionally. It is here that one learns to rely on inner perception, to trust intuition, and to witness life without the need for validation or affirmation from others. The moments of solitude become sacred acts of engagement with reality, allowing one to see with clarity, think with precision, and respond with authenticity. Through this intentional focus, the individual discovers that the mind's capacity for understanding is amplified when distractions are removed, and that insight gained in quiet reflection is a guide for action, a light illuminating the path forward with subtle yet undeniable force. There is a distinct experience that comes when one feels singled out, as if a message, vision, or insight is meant exclusively for them. This feeling is both humbling and empowering, for it reminds the individual that certain revelations carry a weight and purpose that cannot be diluted by sharing or comparing with others. Being singled out is not about importance or superiority, but about responsibility. A recognition that some truths are personal, meant to inspire reflection, understanding, and action in ways that are uniquely suited to one's path. In these moments, awareness sharpens, and the individual begins to see the depth of their role in the unfolding of events, understanding that their response has significance beyond immediate perception. It is a quiet, yet undeniable call to presence, urging attention to what is being revealed and fostering a sense of accountability to the insight itself. The intensity of this experience is not meant to overwhelm, but to focus, to draw the mind and heart fully into contemplation, ensuring that the truth is received with clarity, understood in depth, and applied with intention. Experiencing this kind of singular insight also brings clarity to choice and direction. When a vision or message is perceived as uniquely directed, it demands discernment, reflection, and courage. It encourages the individual to move beyond routine observation and to engage in deeper thinking, questioning, and understanding. These moments often highlight decisions that may have been overlooked, patterns that may have gone unnoticed, or opportunities that require deliberate attention. There is a quiet insistence in this call, a way of drawing focus that leaves little room for distraction or deflection. The observer realizes that this insight, appearing in its exclusivity, carries guidance that may influence not only personal growth, but also the broader dynamics of life around them. It is a reminder that moments of understanding are gifts that require active engagement, patience and readiness to act upon what is perceived. Through this focused observation, the individual gains the ability to navigate challenges with intention, applying insight in ways that ripple outward with meaning and purpose. This sense of being singled out also cultivates a quiet humility. Recognizing that some truths are meant only for the self encourages reflection on one's responsibilities and potential. It is an invitation to approach life with care, presence, and reverence for the unique journey unfolding. It reminds the observer that knowledge or insight, while powerful, carries with it the expectation of thoughtful action. The moment of singular focus is fleeting, and its full value is realized only when attention is given completely, without deflection, doubt, or disregard. By embracing this experience, one develops a sense of inner authority, a trust in perception, and an ability to act with clarity and purpose. The individual learns that being singled out is not about recognition from others, but about acknowledging the truth of the moment, integrating it fully, and allowing it to guide the path forward with quiet, unwavering presence. In this way, insight becomes both a mirror and a compass, reflecting the journey already traveled and illuminating the steps yet to come. Timing is a subtle yet profound force, shaping the unfolding of understanding and insight in ways that often go unnoticed until the precise moment reveals itself. There is a rhythm to life, a natural cadence that determines when clarity will arrive and when awareness will emerge. Recognizing that the right moment has come requires attentiveness, patience, and trust in the process. When one is called to see or understand, it is rarely coincidental. The insight is offered at a point when the mind and heart are prepared, when previous experiences, challenges, and choices have aligned to allow comprehension to arise fully. There is a sense of sacredness in this timing, as if the opportunity itself carries the weight of precision, a fleeting invitation to observe and engage with what is revealed. Failing to honor this timing can diminish the value of the insight, while fully embracing it can reshape understanding, illuminate new directions, and inspire action that resonates far beyond the immediate moment. The power of timing lies in its invisibility. It cannot be forced, only received, recognized, and respected with full attention and openness. Observing the arrival of insight at the right time also cultivates patience and awareness. Moments of understanding cannot be rushed or manufactured. They emerge naturally, guided by forces often beyond conscious control, yet perfectly aligned with the needs of the individual. There is a quiet lesson in this, teaching that life unfolds according to a rhythm that requires listening and trust. When one learns to recognize the right timing, the ability to engage meaningfully with revelation is enhanced. Clarity arrives when preparation meets opportunity, when perception is attuned to the subtleties of circumstance, and when the mind is present enough to receive what is offered. This understanding encourages a sense of presence and readiness, a willingness to engage fully without distraction, doubt, or hesitation. The individual comes to see that every moment holds potential, yet only some moments carry the specific resonance needed to transform perception and guide the path forward. Timing, then, is not simply a matter of clocks or schedules, but a deeper, almost invisible alignment between readiness and revelation. The sacredness of timing also reinforces the responsibility inherent in observation. When insight or understanding appears at the precise moment it is meant to, it demands engagement, reflection, and action. To ignore or delay responding is to miss an opportunity that may not return, and to diminish the impact of what is being revealed. There is a power in recognizing that timing itself is part of the message, that the moment chosen is as important as the insight it brings. By honoring timing, one learns to act with discernment and intention, aligning thought and behavior with the unfolding of circumstances. This awareness fosters wisdom, teaching that observation alone is not enough. One must also recognize the rhythm, respond in alignment, and integrate the experience fully. In this way, timing becomes both guide and measure, shaping understanding, illuminating the path ahead, and reminding the observer that every moment has its own unique potential to transform, direct, and inspire. Focused attention is a remarkable tool, one that allows the mind to see with clarity that is often unavailable in moments of distraction or divided thought. When a person is asked to witness or understand something alone, free from external interruptions, the perception gained is uniquely profound. This kind of attention sharpens awareness, revealing details and patterns that otherwise remain hidden beneath the surface of ordinary experience. The act of observing alone is not passive. It requires presence, patience, and dedication. In this space, the mind begins to discern subtle connections, recognize truths previously overlooked, and understand relationships between events, thoughts, and emotions in a deeper way. The clarity achieved is a result of the mind's full engagement, undiluted by the influence of others or the noise of the external world. It is a kind of vision that allows the individual to see the essence of circumstances, to perceive underlying meanings, and to gain insights that carry both understanding and guidance for future action. The depth of observation that comes from focused attention is accompanied by a sense of responsibility. Witnessing something alone is an invitation to engage with it fully, to process it internally, and to allow understanding to emerge naturally. Distractions, doubts, and assumptions fall away, leaving only the truth as it presents itself. This clarity is not rigid, it is flexible and nuanced, capable of revealing multiple layers of understanding that require discernment. The observer learns to recognize the importance of being present without forcing interpretation, allowing insight to develop organically. In doing so, the mind becomes attuned to subtleties that would be missed in hurried or distracted observation. Focused attention, therefore, is not simply about seeing. It is about perceiving with depth, integrating awareness, and cultivating the ability to respond with wisdom. Each moment of undistracted observation strengthens the capacity to understand the world in its complexity, to appreciate patterns that guide decisions, and to recognize the personal role one plays within the unfolding of events. Moreover, observing alone nurtures independence and trust in one's own perception. Without external validation or the influence of collective opinion, the individual learns to rely on intuition and insight. Focused attention becomes a practice of self-reliance and clarity, allowing understanding to form without distortion or bias. The process encourages discernment, enabling the observer to distinguish between superficial appearances and the deeper truths that shape reality. It is a discipline that rewards patience, humility, and engagement, for the insight gained is directly proportional to the presence brought to the act of observation. In this way, focused attention not only sharpens perception, but also cultivates readiness, ensuring that when a decision, action, or response is required, it emerges from a place of clarity, understanding, and thoughtful awareness. By witnessing alone and focusing fully, the individual gains the tools necessary to navigate life with discernment, insight, and purposeful engagement. Being chosen to witness or experience something carries a profound sense of purpose. It is not a claim of superiority, but rather an invitation to recognize that certain responsibilities, insights, or opportunities are uniquely aligned with one's path. This sense of purpose inspires awareness, urging the individual to approach life with intention and presence. It is a call to honor the moment, to pay attention to what is being revealed, and to integrate it thoughtfully into action and understanding. The recognition of being chosen fosters courage, as the individual realizes that the unfolding experiences are not random, but rather connected to a larger pattern that requires engagement. This awareness strengthens the mind and heart, providing clarity that allows one to act in alignment with what is observed, ensuring that choices are made consciously and deliberately. It reminds the observer that life's moments of insight are not mere coincidences, but invitations to step fully into understanding, to embrace responsibility, and to align actions with the wisdom that emerges from focused attention and reflection. The sense of being chosen encourages honesty and authenticity. When insight appears in this way, it demands reflection on one's own beliefs, intentions, and potential. It is a reminder that growth and understanding come from facing truth directly, rather than seeking comfort in avoidance or distraction. The responsibility that accompanies being chosen is not burdensome. It is empowering, allowing one to recognize the value of their unique perspective and the impact that their awareness can have on themselves and those around them. By embracing this sense of purpose, the individual begins to cultivate discernment, understanding the difference between what is fleeting and what carries lasting significance. The feeling of being selected for observation is a nudge to engage fully, to listen deeply, and to act with integrity. This is not a moment for hesitation or doubt, but for clarity, courage, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing the timing, purpose, and relevance of the insight that has been offered. Being chosen also nurtures patience and readiness. It is a reminder that every insight or message appears when the individual is prepared to receive it, and that timing, intention, and perception are intertwined. By embracing the moment fully, the observer learns to act with awareness rather than impulse, to allow understanding to deepen before responding, and to trust in the unfolding of events. This cultivated patience strengthens decision-making, allowing actions to be guided by wisdom rather than distraction or haste. Being chosen is not a guarantee of simplicity, but it provides clarity that illuminates the path, allowing the individual to navigate complexity with confidence. In acknowledging this role, the observer gains a sense of alignment with the greater flow of life, understanding that insight, timing, and action are intimately connected, and that embracing purpose fully allows transformation, growth, and meaningful engagement with the journey ahead. Insight is never static. It is transformative, capable of reshaping perception, understanding, and the path forward. Observing alone allows this transformation to occur most fully, because in solitude the mind can engage with what is revealed without distraction or influence. It is in this quiet engagement that perception deepens, revealing layers of meaning that are often hidden beneath routine thought or superficial observation. Transformation begins when observation is intentional, when the individual surrenders fully to the moment, allowing understanding to unfold naturally. This process does not require force or expectation. It only requires presence, openness, and the willingness to accept what is shown. In doing so, one encounters truths in their raw, unfiltered form, allowing for reflection that is honest, grounded, and expansive. The act of witnessing alone thus becomes an opportunity for inner growth, providing clarity, perspective, and the ability to respond with intention and wisdom rather than impulse or habit. It is a quiet, subtle transformation, yet its effects ripple outward, influencing choices, behavior, and understanding in ways that continue to shape the individual's journey long after the moment has passed. Transformation through insight also invites courage. Facing truth in solitude often reveals what is uncomfortable, challenging, or previously unacknowledged. Yet it is in embracing these revelations fully that growth occurs. Observing without distraction allows one to engage with complexity and nuance, confronting what must change, what must be accepted, and what must be integrated. This is not a process of judgment, but of recognition, of perceiving reality in its fullness and allowing understanding to guide action. Transformation emerges from this engagement, providing clarity that is difficult to achieve in collective or distracted spaces. The individual learns that insight alone is not the end, but the beginning of reflection, adaptation, and application. It teaches patience, discernment, and the importance of aligning perception with response, fostering a deep trust in one's ability to navigate life's challenges with presence and integrity. Finally, the transformative power of insight nurtures maturity and preparedness. By witnessing alone, the observer gains a perspective that is uniquely personal, a vantage point from which the subtleties of life and circumstance can be fully understood. Each revelation encourages reflection, adjustment, and intentional action, strengthening the ability to make choices with clarity and confidence. Transformation does not happen instantaneously. It is a process that unfolds over time, shaped by attention, engagement, and integration. The individual who embraces the moment of insight alone discovers that true understanding is both quiet and profound, empowering them to move forward with awareness, purpose, and alignment. Through this process, perception itself becomes a guide, allowing one to navigate life with a sense of clarity, strength, and readiness to embrace the journey as it unfolds. The moment offered for observation is fleeting, precious, and requires courage to embrace fully. It is a rare opportunity, a pause in the ordinary flow of life that asks for complete attention and presence. To witness alone is to engage with the essence of what is revealed, to absorb it fully without the distraction of external voices, opinions, or influences. There is a quiet power in this solitude, for it allows the mind and heart to process insight directly, forming understanding that is unfiltered and authentic. The observer is called to act with intentionality, integrating what is seen into awareness and allowing it to guide perception and choices. Ignoring or dismissing such moments risks losing an opportunity that may not present itself again and diminishes the potential impact of the revelation. Embracing the moment, however, strengthens discernment, courage, and clarity, offering a guide for action and a foundation for meaningful engagement with the journey ahead. In this way, the fleeting nature of insight emphasizes the importance of readiness, attentiveness, and the willingness to step fully into the present without hesitation or doubt. Witnessing alone nurtures deep reflection, creating the conditions necessary for integration and growth. In solitude, every detail, nuance, and connection is available for careful observation. The individual can explore patterns, possibilities, and meanings without interference, allowing understanding to emerge organically. This reflective space encourages patience, as insight may reveal itself gradually, layer by layer, requiring careful attention to absorb its full significance. The observer becomes attuned to subtle cues, to the interplay of thought, emotion, and circumstance, and to the ways in which the revelation can inform decisions and action. In this process, the individual learns that insight is not merely information to be noted, but an experience to be lived, understood, and internalized. Through this engagement, clarity deepens, and the observer gains the ability to respond with wisdom and purpose, using the rare moment as a compass to guide thought, behavior, and intention. Finally, the ephemeral nature of these moments underscores the value of courage and commitment. Choosing to see fully, to absorb completely, and to act intentionally requires trust in oneself and in the unfolding of understanding. It is an act of devotion to awareness, a commitment to honor the opportunity with presence, focus, and integrity. The power of witnessing alone lies not only in what is observed, but in the readiness to integrate it, to allow the insight to shape perspective and action in a meaningful way. By embracing the moment, the observer gains mastery over distraction, develops confidence in personal discernment, and cultivates the wisdom to navigate complexity with clarity and poise. The fleeting moment, when attended to fully, becomes transformative, leaving an imprint of awareness that continues to guide, inform, and inspire. It is a rare gift, and its value is realized only through presence, courage, and the willingness to engage with life in its fullness.